Alright. So, I was wrong. I was wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, The Legend of Dragoon rating video. Oh boy. Legend of Dragoon. The game that surprised me, if I'm honest. 9 session counts, PSN rewinds for the cheats, 64, or to, plus 64 to story, with a lot of things that bug me about it, and 44 to gameplay. So, I'm not going to waste any time. Let's get to it. Brickwork. There's a lot of areas with really good brickwork. In general, the general quality of the brickwork is a single positive, but there's several areas where I love the brickwork individually. Hence the positives you see. With me giving special mention to Celeste, Bale, Hoax, the next Nest of Dragon, Lohan, Shirley's Shrine, the Kazas slash the Black Castle, Bale's also slash Indel's Castle, Twin Castle and Feltz, Denningrad and the Crystal Palace, and Mayfill. Now, yes, that is 10 places that got a positive each for brickwork. But honestly, that just goes to show how much detail they put into the brickwork specifically. The very design of these places, which is awesome. Speaking of attention to detail, doodads usage. This one has fewer, but is still worthy of note. Bale once again. Bale's in Indel's Castle yet again. Hoax, Lohan. Yeah, Lohan didn't get brickwork. It actually got doodads and... Or no, Lohan did get brickwork. I'm sorry. Never mind. Lohan got both, yeah. Queen Fury, that was the one that didn't get a brickwork positive. And I stand behind that. I don't think the Queen Fury is brickwork-wise is worthy of anything. But doodads. There's a lot of doodads all throughout the ship, which is actually kind of awesome. The Denningrad and the Crystal Palace, and of course Mayfill. Yes, Mayfill actually had doodads. Not really as much as you might think, but at the same time, there is a lot of interesting, Mayfill's layout is the brickwork, and the individual bits of it are the doodads. The sprite work. Now, okay. Yes, it is kind of bad when you zoom in. But from a distance, I actually think the sprites look good. And the camera is almost always, he's far away to kind of, circumvent that. Then again, I'm also a sucker for the the action figure nature of the sprites. So, shrug. There's some good storyboarding. I thought the story sequencing in the first half of the game specifically was exquisite and worthy of a triple positive. Keep in mind that I want to stress that that's the first half of the game. Once you get to, discs 1 and 2 are brilliant with their story sequencing. But once you get to discs 3 and 4, shit just starts feeling like it's happening just fucking cuz, and it kind of drags on. I like the in-scene animations. I feel there's a lot of good foreshadowing on display. Hey. So that was a triple positive. The music direction is exquisite and just great throughout, so that was a triple for me. Gameplay story integration, yes. The NPC header, it is constantly good and changes along with the story, so I went ahead and gave that a triple positive. There's a lot of good use of limblom effects, not even just in the way, you know, the way that it's designed and what limited NPCs these are walking around, but also in the sound design too. Like, you actually hear in a lot of places there's actually, it sounds like there's a lot more people that the camera is not focusing on, which is actually kind of awesome. The humor in this game is hilarious and character driven too, so yeah, 2 positives. I like the banter between the characters. The theme that the pre-title screen opening talks about, namely the idea that one should stop chasing the past and live in the present, is well utilized throughout the entire story. Good stuff. Great use of Babylon 5 effect. Like, honestly, enough said. The first half of the game, exquisitely paced. Triple positive there. Visual storytelling, all over the place, especially in those CG cutscenes. It's kind of awesome. Dart. For the first time in this video, I am actually going to make a timestamp. Why? Because there's one specific scene I want to I want to put here when discussing the character of Dart. Because yeah, the specific scene I'm going to have Future Alex showing you is whatchamacallit. The one where where he agrees to go to Hoax, right? That one at Indel's castle when they're staring out at the landscape. That one I am gonna put there because I love Dart. He literally just is like, yeah, no, I'm absolutely going, and he has a lot of great growth throughout the entire game, especially if you pay attention. So yeah, I easily was able to justify a triple positive. Also, his theme song. His theme is awesome, and I don't remember which one of these it is. Give me a moment. Oh, I got it in first try. This song. This freaking song is awesome and got a positive to story because hell yeah, it did. I can't believe I got that first try. Holy shit. Spotify has them all labeled in Japanese. That's why I say that. And that's how I play these songs for you. So, yeah. Lavitz. He is constantly a bro throughout the entire game, and I love him. I like Shauna, personally, and I do find she's an interesting character in her own right, at least until the narrative starts treating her like a plot device, because that's when she stops being a character. Quite literally, because she's not even in the frickin' narrative for a large fucking chunk of it. Ugh. At least it's literally just she was removed from the narrative both figuratively and literally, instead of just figuratively. I like Albert. I think he's an interesting character. Kongol fascinates me because he starts off as a villain in Chapter 1 and then he joins you in Chapter 2. Oh, I guess I listed these in the order of Okay, that's weird that I put Rose so deep in, I guess. Weird. Anyways, Rose was a triple positive. Positive. I am not even going. I'm not even gonna attempt to justify. Well, sorry. The stream justifies it. Let's just be real, because I spend a lot of time talking about just how fascinating her journey is to unfold throughout the entire thing. You know. And then there's a lot of the supporting cast. None of these characters really warranted a positive on their own, but just a overall aggregate positive for them in general, I think was warranted. These are characters that include characters like Da Boss, us, Lynn and Kate from Donahue, King's Lyre, his incompetence notwithstanding, but we'll get to that in the negatives. Princess Lisa, ditto. We'll get to the incompetence in the negatives. The Basel Knights during Chapter 1. Wink, Martel, Coffee, Fester, Nello, and Princess Emily herself. Or Emile. I always forget the pronunciation. I flip-flop constantly. And as I said, none of these characters warrant a positive by themselves, but so this is more of just a positive for the supporting cast in general. Which is kind of a rarity that I say that. Because usually a lot of the supporting cast are just individual characters that I like, you know. Or individual characters that I hate. So, yeah. I adore Haschel. I find him to be hilarious. I like Lloyd as a villain. One second. I have got to find her song. Give me a moment. Nope. 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 No, that's the boss. There you are. Maru. Like, I don't even feel like I need I don't even feel the need to quantify this. Maru is one of my favorite characters. Is my favorite character in the game, no question. Funny, adorable, takes no shit. Yeah, she's a kid, but in like an endearing way rather than an irritating way. Absolutely triple positive for her because, like, yeah, just that initial bit during her introduction. The pre-title opening, I gave that a triple positive. The scene where Dart talks about his backstory and why he's been gone for 5 years. I like that, to be honest with you. Meeting with King Albert, I find that to be a great scene. Really highlights this thing. The main reason why I don't do rapid fire edits and show all of these clips back to back is because, again, a lot of this is on the stream, and I feel like I should probably start linking the streams memes more, because again, that was kind of the original intent of these rating videos, right? Sure, sprinkling in a few case in points, hints here and there makes a lot of sense, but it's like, yeah, it's what the stream is for, you know? The CG scene that describes the Dragon campaign, I've always liked that one. And the way it's said, it does make it sound like a legend, which is good. The scene I showed when talking about Dart's character, so I'll probably just, I might just show it again, we'll see, but yeah, no, it's, I love this declaration that he wants to just end the war. It's great. It's honestly great. Hey, 2 positives for that. Meeting Lavitz's mom. Nice little, delightful little fun meeting. This one I'm actually going to do a timestamp because I'm sure some people might be like, wait, what was this again? And that is the scene where Lavitz shows off his treasure, aka showing off the view of Indel's castle. Honestly, that just kind of speaks for itself, in my opinion. The entirety of Hoax as a story locale has some interesting things to see if you explore it. The highlight, of course, being Midwife Hilda. Now, if you're wondering why I didn't show Midwife Gilda, well, that's because as I'm about to make another timestamp. Because of the awakening of Dart's Dragoon spirit. Because, yes, the awakening of Dart's Dragoon powers is just gold as far as I'm concerned. It was hinted at twice before this, Rose at the beginning, and then, of course, with Dart explaining his backstory. And it's just an awesome showcase of how damn powerful the Red-Eyed Dragoon is / can become. Combine that with the poetic irony that it was Rose of all people that woke the power up. See the Babylon 5 effect point in from earlier. And that her arrival allows the scene to sidestep the battle lost the cutscene, and yeah, triple positive for that. As we apparently board the Phantom ship. Okay. I chopped the intro at the end of Hoax and gave it a double positive. Yeah. I really like the scene that ends the wounded that plays out when you defeat the wounded Virage. Because, again, and good foreshadowing. I think there's some good foreshadowing, some good, some good camera work there. I like that whole thing. Whole confrontation with Graham is just an awesome story beat. Eat for Lavitz, love it. The confrontation with Shirley having interesting lore implications. That's cute. That's cool. I also like her fight as a story beat because as it gives you good insight into the party. So there's that. Curing Shauna, that's another great scene full of foreshadowing. Then there's the heart-to-heart between Dart and Lavitz. Have it's after the hero competition. Which I am actually gonna make I'm actually gonna make a timestamp for that. Because yeah, need that because yeah, that whole scene after the hero competition, it nicely ties into the theme of the story, and just the whole thing with, you know, revenge leaving you empty and all that. Love it. Then there's Lavitz's death. We're just laying on all of the clips in this one, aren't we? Yeah. Levitz's death. It hits in all the right ways. The music, the tension, setting up later plot points without losing momentum. Hell, even the last words being cut off, combined with not only Dart having it slowly dawn on him that his best friend is dead, but the Dragoon spirit being passed on to Albert. Oh. Oh man, that hits. It's funny, as the more I thought about this scene, the more it was just like yeah, this is a triple. I couldn't justify giving it less than a triple. Absolutely. I like Dole's death when we defeat him. That's good stuff. I also love that not only is his words tie into the theme, but he dies on his feet. Like, yeah. Then there's Kongol saving the party and then joining up after. I kind of liked that one. And I also love that it proves I was wrong. Sparing Kongol didn't kill us. It saved our asses. More than once when you think about it. Lynn and Kate's wedding, which the optional scene of Lynn and Kate's wedding. I love that how wonderful and wholesome that scene is, and it has great implications. The entire Queen Fury section is just really good, and I kind of wish there was more of it, honestly. Then there's the whole scene after the CG scene after we deal with the Phantom ship, revealing that Rose was one of the Dragon campaign in Dragoons. That whole CG scene is just, yeah. It's kind of awesome, even if it is kind of badly voiced, at least. Which is part of the reason why I'm not going to ruin the mood by kind of showing that off. This isn't a case where I need to make a point with the bad voice acting like I did in Soden, so that's why I'm not even bothering with it, if you're wondering. Listening at the door gag, hey, when Dart and Shauna are reunited. Cool. Then there's Shauna's confession. Honestly, I kind of feel like that whole thing kind of just speaks for itself. In all honesty, but it is still a really good scene, and even if it does kind of keep getting interrupted, which it is funny. Then there's the entire banquet section, which I think is just gold. The character moments when gathering everybody, the awesome dialogue during the banquet itself, and especially Rose Dart's wingman. Okay. Yeah, that's a, I need to make a note of that. Because, yeah. Like, you just know I have to show that off. Because it's not even like she was trying to be his wingman. She is literally just basically coming to Dart and being like, what the fuck are you doing? Which is kind of the best way to be a wingman, and in that situation, because Dart did need it, and yeah, also the kiss that Dart and Shauna share at the end of that is just, yeah, whole section triple positive. I enjoy the CG scene that explains the Divine Tree, the Legend of the Divine Tree. I like the CG scene that further elaborates on the Dragon campaign. So all of that, those two were cool. Then there's Lloyd killing younger Bartle. I have a lot more timestamps than I thought I would. Good. But just that whole bit of Lloyd just killing him is just, yes! Get rid of that sack of garbage. Get rid of that fucking waste of a character. Character that goes absolutely fucking nowhere. Fuck him. Even if I do wish it was us that got rid of him instead, Ed, I'm willing to let it go because, like, because the plot needed that. But at the same time, it was still like, oh fuck, I was more on Lloyd's side than anything. Then there's the entire confrontation with Lloyd, which I think just works brilliant. Brilliant. Just everything leading up to that final scene right before the results screen. That was just pure gold. And pure gold, pure awesome. And awesome, and yeah, my timestamp is also going to mention the next positive of Dart punching Lloyd in the face. I have used this as a metric in like other reviews, like for example, Sky 1. And there's a scene where Cassius actually takes a page out of Dart's book. Right? The punch to Lloyd's face. Revenge is set aside. It is set aside, and the punch shows that Dart has indeed grown as a character. Your death won't bring anyone who died back. I'm gonna make you see this through to the end, Lloyd. Hell fucking yeah. So, despite the plot hole it generates, it's with the reveal later in the scene, The reveal that Dart's father is masquerading as Diaz, is in that he is Zeke from the Dragoon campaign, is a good twist and one that I think works very well. I also gave that whole exposition scene at the end of Disc 3 a triple positive because I think it puts a lot of things into perspective, and then you combine that with the twists of not only with, you know, Rose not only being the Black Monster, but Shauna being the Moonchild as well, and yeah, wow, that is just awesome. Speaking of Rose being the Black Monster, by the way, is the scene where with the flashback to Dart confronting Rose in the Death Frontier. That was great. That was absolutely great. I love that. It shows that Dart has indeed settled things with the Black Monster, and it's a great end to his character arc, and I absolutely love the subtlety of it. The subtlety of it, the nuance, and especially what it says for Dart's character growth without saying it out loud. I love it. And the more I was typing this out, this was another one. The more I typed it out, the more I was like, yep, triple positive. I also like the send-off in Ulara as well. In the interest of giving credit or of lines that make me laugh my ass off, misspelling. Just make a timestamp to have future Alex display a screenshot of that at line. Honestly, I think enough said. Then there's the whole interaction with Damia, which is one of the optional fights. Right, says everything it needs to about what Rose thought of her. You know, the little sister vibes. I love the Dragon Souls in Mayfill as a concept. And then, of course, there is Lavitz's soul. Oh, guiding us to the final Signet Sphere. Oh, sphere. Wow, that is more timestamps than I was expecting, but here we are. But I stand behind all that I've said about this. That's a triple positive right there. Then we get into the moon. Albert versus the Albert versus Dole fight 1-on-1 is actually really awesome. I love how it brings Albert's story to a close in a very satisfying way. Then there's Maru versus Archangel, which is an interesting and wonderful showcase of her character, and I frickin' love it. The whole time, Maru is basically saying, Wingley's were fucking douchey dictator fucks. Go to hell. And it was awesome. Decent time for this song to pop up, because the twist that Melbu Frama was not only possessing Zieg, but has been behind everything, is great and makes many things, save for the surprise he shows in Mayfell, make way more sense. Then there's the ending, which has good and bad elements. I like the dialogue, and Zeke and Rose ending Melbu, but the weirdness makes the ending as good as it is awful. As goo as it is awful. Okay. I also love the epilogue montage. That's awesome. Which also leads to a positive for the outro for a grand total of 130 story positives. Let's move on to the negatives now. Empty text. It starts to really plague the dialogue in Disc 4, specifically. Also, I really can't stand this fucking translation. I know some people give it credit, but I really hate this translation so much. While not to the same extent as, say, the Trails series, speaking of, there is a bit of won the battle, lost the cutscene, though in this case it's more won the battle handedly, barely won in lore, or this time. Which I admit bugs me more than it should, but some fights like the Super Virage in the Forbidden Land with certain fights like the Super Virage in Forbidden Land making no sense, with practically every other time it just makes no sense that we barely won. Like, they literally say in dialogue in a couple of cases, we barely defeated it. Like, what? Ugh. Then there's the story sequencing in the second half, which is just downright awful. Awful and annoying, so that's a triple negative. Pacing and padding issues in the late game, because Jesus. Then there's Bulgus, who is an arrogant asshole, and that is his entire character with no real nuance, which would be fine if he also wasn't a waste of on-screen text. I believe that was the tournament fucker, but I could be wrong. Future Alex will, of course, check it and then have... I actually should make a timestamp of that to make sure that future Alex reminds us of who the hell Bulgus is. Is because I don't remember who Bulgus is off the top of my head. But I do know he's a pain in the ass. The name sounds familiar, but yeah. Speaking of pains in the ass, though, the Bartle brothers. Oh, God, the fucking Bartle brothers. There's like, fuck me. Fucking hate the Bartle brothers. They are arrogant and serve nearly no purpose in the story other than to be assholes, especially to Maru. We don't even get a satisfying conclusion, as the older one chickens out of hating us after Dart transforms. Just transforms, and only once, and then the younger one is killed by Lloyd, which was a positive to story, but was just still unsatisfying as fuck. So yeah, triple negative there. Oh God, okay. Oh fuck, okay. Alright. Fucking Miranda. Oh, dear Lord. I am going to be showing a clip of... I am just gonna... You know what? No. Let's do it this way. Let's actually do it this way. Pause the music. Future Alex, just put the rant and we went on during her introductory scene. That fucking rant sums it all up perfectly. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to my most hated fucking character in this entire game. A character that I despise so much that 13-1 Hope is looking at my hatred of this bitch and going, dude, I thought I was hated. Okay, Wink is awesome. I will say, I will give that up, Beer Jesus. Wink is awesome. But Miranda might be my most hated character in all of fucking fiction. And I mean that sincerely. I have always despised this character. Yeah, she's the Valley Girl, but she's not even like a well-written Valley Girl. She is literally the Valley Girl whose bitchiness the narrative bends over backwards to try and justify. But that only creates giant frickin' plot holes that make her look like a frickin' jackass. It's even further. Yes! Yeah, exactly! It's that kind of bullshit! Bullshit. And I absolutely fucking despise her for it. I legitimately think that what's about to happen should have been more like Eris from frickin' FF7 Heaven than what it's actually going to be. Hey, because I think that just would have worked better. But no! Instead, we need this bitch. We are introduced to her for smacking her knight here, right? Okay. Now, on the surface of it, you might say, well, he was spouting some pretty stupid fucking shit. But that's what I mean when I say that the narrative bends over backward for her. The knight has to say something that's so incredibly stupid, you have to wonder how the hell this dude became the commander of the knights. It's in the first place. And she acts like a complete bitch. And spoilers, she will not stop being that much of a bitch for the entire rest of the game. With one exception. She will have a softer side once. Yeah. Moving on before I have any more of a fucking aneurysm because oh my god. I guess I should just read out my negative to make it crystal fucking clear. So, yeah, Miranda. Fucking Miranda. This bitch is my most hated character in the entire game, in total contrast to Maru. She is arrogant to the max, acts like a bitch to way too many people. We're literally introduced to her abusing a knight for fuck's sake. Hence why I told Future Alex to put that as the fucking clip. And is supposed to be sympathetic because of her backstory, which just pisses me off even fucking more. Or because, oh god, we'll get into the mishandling of that at later. Oh god. I've always hated this bitch and I always will. Yeah, do you even need to ask? It's a triple. Then there's Tim Burrows' incompetence. There is no two ways about it. When Wink impersonates Princess Emil, nobody but Lisa notices, and it's only like kind of a, oh, this is kind of weird kind of thing. And for 6 months, nobody notices anything. That's terrible. So, yeah, negative there. Oh, boy. So, Kongol's Dragoon Spirit. Yeah, the irrelevance of it is ridiculous because you either get it in Lohan by paying 1,000 gold, or you don't get it until literally the final dungeon, with literally the only story bosses left being the last Super Virage, Zieg, and then the final boss himself. And then Melbuframa himself. Like, are you kidding me? Like, are you seriously kidding me? Hey, with that shit? Oof. Like, it's frustrating because it feels like they had no idea how to make Kongol getting his Dragoon Spirit fit into the narrative. And as such, it just makes it so that he never really develops as a Dragoon, because getting the spirit before the final dungeon is optional. Then there's the stealth section in the Twin Castle, which from a story perspective actually bugs me. Because the bandits posing as knights are not even remotely subtle, and it just pisses me off that the party doesn't just deal with them, especially outside of Emil's room, right? It's like, and especially when we get the real one back, it's like, hello, let's quickly deal with them. I get that we're on a freaking time crunch, but letting them go is just wrong, in my opinion. Ugh. Then there's the whole Kamui subplot. That is the wolf in the Evergreen Forest. Ugh, I really hate that one. And all the best lines from it come from doing the side quest as early as possible, because if you wait for Miranda, she's not only a wimp that has to guess at what Shauna would do, but isn't even recognized as a sacred sister. It's like, what? Yeah, no. 2 negatives there. Speaking of... fitting that this song came up, because I am making a timestamp for the 45-minute mark. Because, seriously, fuck the scene where she loses her Dragoon Spirit. Fuck the scene where Shauna loses her Dragoon Spirit. That is a triple negative easily. She is benched for the rest of the game because of the plot, and it just feels anticlimactic. Seriously, it just happens out of nowhere with so little fanfare or build-up that it just feels like an excuse the writers are throwing out there just to get her where they need her to be. So, yeah, that's a triple negative right there. Oh, and the fact that Miranda, of all fucking people, gets that Dragoon Spirit really pisses me off, too. Every single other time the spirits have changed hands, the previous character got a moment that ended their character arc. Lavitz ended their character arc. Dole ended his character arc. The moon confrontation with Dole is more of an aberration, so it's not really Dole. Oh, and it's more of a conclusion to Albert's character arc, not Dole's. Dole's character arc ended when he died. Right, but yeah, Lavitz ended. It ended. Dole ended. Graham's character got an ending. Shirley kind of gets an ending. We get an ending to the confrontation with Shirley early when we're handed the White Silver Dragoon Spirit. Hear it, every other time. Alright, here, nope. Shauna gets 2 headaches, and then bam! During the second headache, She loses it, and it goes to Miranda, who we met in the scene immediately before this. Which, by the way, was the one where she was abusing her, the head of her knight. Her moron of a knight captain. Yeah. Then there's the switch flip of Ancestor Blano telling the other Winglies to cooperate with other species, which honestly is dumb and can burn in hell. Because the very last scene with the forest had them all, including the Ancestor by the way, being xenophobic assholes, and now all of a sudden he's cool with it because of the Divine Dragon? I mean, I get the idea behind that, but no, fuck off, game. You have to at least show that on screen. Then there's the scene I mentioned up in the negatives with the Bartle brothers, others with the elder Bartle, which honestly is only saved from multiple negatives because of Rose's line in particular about those who flaunt their power. However, as the rest of the scene brings up an interesting idea, but does absolutely nothing with it, save for the younger Bartle to go off to commit genocide, which will be stopped immediately by Lloyd, a Wingly. Go figure. Then there's Miranda telling us that Milsiziu's Divine Moon object is none of our business. This is right after we face Grandjewel. I hate that for one very simple reason. And I can sum it up just right here with this. Telling us that the Divine Moon object is not our business is stupid, as the line comes right after we mention Lloyd and the fact that he's after them. Like, you fucking dumb bitch. Like, come on. And before you bring up that what she is saying is not your business, is about her personal life, when a country is on the fucking line, you swallow your fucking pride. Especially when you're supposed to be one of the governing bodies of that fucking country, you moron. Like, seriously, Miranda, if Queen Teresa is the ruler, you are literally like the second in line for the throne. God fucking damn it. Also, her saying that the Divine Dragon appearing right as we're leaving the Forbidden Land as early is a dumb line. I fucking hated that. Ooh. Then there's a cavalcade of stupid right out. And right after, I need to make a timestamp of. So give me a second to jot all of this down. Jot all this down quick. I'll know what that means. And the courage test. So the next few negatives are all bullshit that Miranda is all guilty of. Guilty of. So the first one, two of these are triples, one of these is a single. The first triple is Miranda calling Rose conceited for saying that chasing Lloyd was easy compared to what we are facing now. Oh, and it would be, which would be fine coming from Shauna, who was with us more than a quarter of a disc. Like, I don't even think Shauna would call her conceited. He did. I think Shauna would question it. Like, you're calling that easy? Easy? But no, of course, we have to have a bitch that she's only been with us for about a quarter of a disc, slapping her and saying, "Don't get conceited." Then there's the scene where she mentions roses make her puke. Oh, God. So, you not liking something, and then acting like a bitch about it, even though it brings happiness to other people, which then she turns around and says, "I should understand her because she was abandoned," is just no. She spoke as if all roses are like her mother, which is just stupid and adds to Miranda suffering from what I call Ava Asuka syndrome, without getting better, which makes Asuka from Evangelion a better character. And that's me saying that. Somebody who fucking hates Evangelion in general, and Asuka in specific. Yeah. That's a triple negative. Then there's her test of courage, which is just... wow. It's dumb and says nothing about her character. And the solution that leads to the best psych bomb is just so painfully obvious that it's like, are you kidding me? I mean, all of them are pretty weak, but hers is the most obvious, and it just fucking hurts, you know? Ugh. Then there's Savon's death. God, that was just weak. Feels like it happens because plot. It just comes across as contrived, in my opinion, as the music has cut out. What was this? Oh, we heard that. I like this song, so we'll go back to this song. I think I skipped over this song, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Anyways, speaking of contrived, Moot reacting to the Dragoons makes sense, but is yet another because plot thing, which I feel is dumb. We literally get introduced to the special Signosphere Moot, and then, like its name, it becomes a moot point. What? Ugh. Then there's Kansas, or however the fuck you're supposed to say his name. The Dragon Campaign Thunder Dragoon. It's the only optional scene with the Dragon Campaign Dragoons that I don't like. I feel like his character needed more than just two short scenes where Rose is kind of a bitch. Not gonna lie. She basically just makes accusations, and that's the end of that. Then there's Zeke being surprised that Dart transformed in front of him in Mayfield, which is just really fucking stupid. This is when we go up to where the Signet Sphere is, and then Zeke shows up. He transforms into a Dragoon, and then he gets batted away. Don't come near me. It's kind of dumb, if I'm honest. I honestly kind of hate that's supposedly the first time ever that Zeke becomes aware of Dart having the Red-Eyed Dragoon powers. I feel like if you remove the exclamation marks from that, from that scene, it would work better. Then there's Death Rose. Then there's Death Rose. Oh, Lord. Where do I even begin with this shit? So the whole Death Rose section absolutely sucks. It just sucks ass. First problem, Miranda's mother abandons her daughter, basically to go be with another man, complete with telling Miranda, go home. Yeah, this child abandonment shit alone was the abandonment alone is a triple negative. But then there's the shit about visiting many times to take Miranda with her. Okay, you realized your mistake, but, sorry, too little too fucking late. Ain't you, whore? You chose a man's dick over your daughter. Go fuck yourself. And then there's the fact that all that is necessary for Miranda to forgive her, that is all that is necessary for Miranda to forgive her mother. Oh, God. Oh, fuck. Oh. So, yeah, that was a triple. And then, which brings us to 10 negative, to the next triple negative, which is up to 10 negatives for this plot point. Forgiving Miranda's mother being the only way this fight can end is also a massive gameplay story segregation, to the tune of a triple negative. And then there's Miranda's dialogue after the fight, which could have been an interesting look into her character if it wasn't so focused on forgiving her mother. Seriously, fuck that shit. So yeah, the abandonment was a triple negative. Then there's the I visited many times. Then there was the triple for, and then there was the triple for that. And for the for that being it to forgive her. The forgiving itself being the way to end it is the gameplay story segregation, then Miranda's dialogue, and then the section itself getting an additional 3 negatives. 16 negatives for that section. Yes, I fucking hate that section that much. I can't believe how much I fucking hate that section. Like, oh my god. Oof. Then we don't get another story negative until Dart asks if the Super Rage right before the final 2 bosses is Shauna. I'm not even going to dignify that with a clip because that's just fucking stupid. Then there's the whole bit, then there's this bit, which I think is probably a good pick for probably my most hated thing a hated scene in the whole game, which is Lloyd versus Melbu. God, I hate that scene so fucking much. God damn it. It's a waste in my opinion, as it feels like his return should mean more than just a footnote. There is a story in asking whether or not Lloyd can or should be redeemed, and they squandered it. Hell, they literally did a better job with asking this question of Darth fucking Vader than they did this. You know? I want to save you. You already have, Luke. Right? And then there's the unceremonious way we get the Divine Dragoon Spirit and Dragon Buster. No fanfare, no epicness, no grandeur, just here you are. Lame. I'm sorry, but I feel like the Divine Dragoon Spirit should be given to us with a bit more fanfare than that. And then the ending also has some pretty bad elements to it, as I described in the positives. 66 story negatives. Let's move on to the gameplay positives now. I don't care what anybody says, as I like the music in this game. They're short loops, yes, but I don't care. These are awesome short loops. Triple positive for that. Then, with special mention going to the second boss song, the third boss song, and the Wingley City normal battle theme, and the final boss song. I know some people find that there is to be anti-quality of life here, but for me, there are several niceties, especially with the PS5's PSN port, which is what this review was of that help things along, including the shortening of load times, as well as the save states and rewinds. But then there's stuff like the encounter arrow, the zooming out of the world on the world map for finding your destination, and other nice little touches like that. Then I gave a positive for the percentage heals, which means regular potions are never obsolete, at least not completely. I love rock fireflies all over the place to fully heal you and remove status effects. That's awesome. I like the combat HUD, the combat interface. I feel there's some excellent gameplay story integration. I love the addition system. Like, everything from the way the way it works, the way it operates, to just how much I enjoy utilizing it. Like, how much I just adore using the system, right? Especially with the callouts. Example, Future Alex. Yeah. Which, yeah, that is my next point. The voice acting on the attack names is just cheesy and hilarious, and I love it. With praise going to a few of them, including Dart's Blazing Dynamo, which is powerful, has a good flow to performing it, and offers great SP recovery. Then there's Perky Step, which is awesome as its damage output makes her comparable to some of the more physically oriented characters at 600% damage. Damn! That was awesome enough to warrant a triple positive. Then there's other ones like Kongol's Bone Crush, which is 100 SP and his usual power, so hell yeah. In addition, no pun intended here, I love the core combat in this game. Triple positive. This might seem weird, but I adore the guarding mechanic. As a way to regain HP, it regains a bit of HP, it has the damage, and completely blocks out status effects. Honestly, I don't feel like holding back on this one, so yeah, no. Guarding is a triple positive. Then there's the entire Dragoon mechanic, which is just awesome. Great animations, cool options that expand as the spirits level up, and they are almost always useful regardless of circumstances. I adore this mechanic and think it deserves a triple positive. Then there's the special mechanic. Anik. Sorry, I forgot to make a timestamp there, because I should make a timestamp for Dragoons in the Special Zone. Because, yeah, the Special Zone is awesome. I love it. Absolutely awesome. Awesome. Enhances the spells, makes the Dragoons in additions automatic. Great stuff. That was a single positive for that one. I gave a triple positive to the combat animations, because I absolutely love them. With spell mention to the Dragoon transformation and combat animations. I like the spell effects, the Dragoon spirit spell effects. So I gave a positive to both the item spells and the Dragoon spells. Especially the dragon summons. Now, if only they weren't overpriced wastes of a turn. The one exception, of course, being the white-silver dragon, which does a ton of damage and heals the party to full. I find itemization to be quite excellent, and it gives you a triple positive. Positive. It even has some interesting decisions made that make sense logically, such as the merchant in Helena Prison's first visit just having happened to end up in our path to Frugal, for example. So, yeah. And then I also want to give a special mention to the excellent gold economy in this game. Because really, unless you're going for like the stupidly overpowered stuff in Lohan, you'll never run out of money. The tutorials are informative and skippable, so that's double positive there. One for each, Master Tasma and Rose respectively. The Stardust side quest. I gave a triple positive to this thing. I honestly think it's awesome. There may be 50 of these things, but they are in locations that are all accessible as long as you don't complete Mayfill, which the game basically warns you of. On top of that, the accessories that it gives you are all useful and are awesome rewards. It's with one that gives you 50% more HP at 10, and one that doubles your MP at 20. When you hand over 20 Stardust, you get the accessory that doubles your MP. You get 50% more SP at 30 with the War God Sash. 40 will net you the ribbon from Final Fantasy VII, basically. All status effects ended when you hand in 40. And then you get access to the super optional at 50. So, yeah. Who in and of himself provides great rewards. All of this is awesome. And yeah, after I typed all that out, it was like, yeah, triple positive there. The encounter design, enemy variety, and boss design were all good, with the boss design in particular being a double positive. I think there's good visual distinction. I like the dungeon design and variety. I find the power progression curve deserve to be worthy of a triple. Triple positive. The difficulty curve was a double positive. I actually don't mind the spikes along the way, honestly. Lohan's expensive equipment is wonderfully game-breaking. I love them all. Oh, they are honestly well worth the cost of 5k/10k, depending on the thing, for how much they make the game a cakewalk. Seriously, Legend Cask on Kongol. Oh, you win. Checkmate, game over, you win. I'm not even joking when I say that. Hell, if you manage to get 2 of those damn things, oh boy. I liked the first visit to Hell in a Prison. I thought it was a well-crafted dungeon that eases you into the game nicely. Frugal's first round, and I thought was a fun and interesting boss fight. Tough but manageable. The Sandora Elite fight in Hoax. That was cool. Fun little gimmick fight. Kongols. The first round against Kongol. That was kind of a cool fight. And the first real tough boss in the game. Hey, you've got your additions down, right? This fight is... It'll be a pain if not, but it's still a good fight in my opinion. 2 positives there. I chopped the intro at Hoax, and I thought it was worthy of a double positive on the gameplay as well. The first encounter with the Virage is interesting, with varied attacks. Then there's Firebird, another fun and interesting fight. Right? That's Wounded Virage and then Firebird, for the record. The fight with Fairbrand and Graham, that was a fun fight. I liked fighting Drake the Bandit. I thought that was an interesting fight. Shirley is interesting as a puzzle boss. Django is a fun difficulty spike. I like the second round against Frugal. I like fighting Kongol the second time. Then there's Dole. There's not much for me to show with the boss fight. It's when it comes to any of the ones that I just mentioned. But yeah, you better believe, Eve, that there is one boss fight that I absolutely want to gush about, and show off on screen, and that is Dole. Dole is incredible as a boss fight. As my notepad drops. Oops. And I figure out where... Oh, my pen's right there. Okay, there. Dole is a great boss fight. It's intense. It's fun. It's... Oh, man. I'm honestly tempted to call it the best boss fight in the game. Hey, I think he fights mostly fair, and that Dragoon transformation, in my opinion, is an example of gotcha done right. Hey, in my blunt opinion. Because, oh, yeah, sure. And, oh, sure, you think Ink it's an example of, oh, crap, now I gotta deal with this. I kind of disagree, because I think it's actually a good, oh, you thought this was going to be easy. Psych! So, cool. Then there's the complete Virage, is in the Valley of Corrupted Gravity. Fun and interesting fight that measures risk versus reward. Garrett and Mappy, that's a fun little fight. The second round against Lennis, specifically. The first round was okay, but the second round, I thought was actually fun. The one where she fights alongside Regol. Then there's the Divine Dragon, Hagen, which, honestly, yeah. The Divine Dragon fight is actually some good gameplay story integration, if I may be so bold. because it literally starts with you using the dragon block staff to weaken it, and it is still a decent challenge. And it's still a decent challenge because of just how powerful of a dragon it is. Great stuff. Easily one of my favorite fights in the whole game. Aim triple positive. The fight with Lloyd, which leads to the punch future Alex has already shown you. That's a cool fight. I like that. I like the Death Frontier as a lucrative grind spot that you control. It's the one spot in the whole, one of the few spots in the game where you actually control the encounters you get into. It is a bit walkthrough-y in terms of the loot, but I think it's good enough loot that it doesn't really bother me all that much. Plus, there are 3 heal spots, so yeah, good stuff. Then there's the most powerful form of the Psych Bomb X, which is the best magic item in the game and worth answering all the courage tests correctly. High power and is a repeating item, meaning it can be used once per battle. Yes, please. The optional fights against the Dragon campaign Dragoons, with one exception, are fun, and I gave each of them a single positive. I started with Sayuval, I went to Damia, I ended with Belzak. Actually, I think I may have started with Kanzas, but yeah, Sayuval was the first fun one. None. Although it is fun, Belzak, fun fact, is challenging if you fight him physically, and is just wrecked by magic, which you can also get nearby. Enough said, really. Then there's the Dragon Soul fights, which I think are actually collectively interesting. Then there's the fight with Lavitz's Spirit and Zackwell, which I feel is an interesting gimmick fight. Then there's Albert versus Dole, the one-on-one fight in the moon, which actually is kind of awesome. Then there's fighting Zeeg, which is a fun fight, even if wearing a legend cask and Dart's dragon armor absolutely frickin' trivialize it. And by that point, I was wearing 2 legend casks. Yeah. I also love the final battle, from the music to the variety of his attacks. Yeah, I gave it a double positive, with me also giving a positive to the fact that I would absolutely replay this game again and again and again. And I have. This was like playthrough like 10 or some shit. Also, good viscerality. 103 positives to gameplay. We've got quite a few negatives to go through, though, so... Because remember, 44 was the plus 44 was the final score. Here we go. So, some of the status effects, I didn't get to show this one off, so I literally can't show you any footage of this one. But there's multiple status effects that kind of bug me, starting with arm blocking, which before you have access to Dragoon form is miserable, as it's only saved from multiple negatives, thanks to the fact that it only lasts either 3 turns of the inflicted character's turn, or 3 of the inflicted character's turns, or you end the battle. So 3 guarding. 3 times where you guard, and of course guarding is an awesome mechanic that prevents any future goes at it. Then there's confusion, which is annoying both for suffering it and when you're suffering from it, and inflicting it, because if you're inflicted with it, you can run thanks to the confused party member, which denies you exp, or the enemy can run when it's inflicted with it, which denies you exp, and gold, and items. And some of the rare of the unique monsters can only be damaged by confusion damage. Other than the Sachet. Then there's Dispiriting, which just sucks. Because, oof. The character looks super depressed, which I know is the point, and you can't gain any SP, which sucks. It makes sense, but it's still annoying. Then there are certain pieces of equipment that are just not good. First up is the worst piece of equipment in the entire game for me. It's an item called War God Calling. So get this. It automatically does your addition, but it halves your damage from said additions, as well as the SP. Oh, and this is also the worst aspect. Your additions will never level up if you use it. Yeah, do yourself a favor. Sell these every time you get them, and save up for the Ultimate War God. Because the Ultimate War God will actually level your additions just by wearing it. And attacking, obviously. Then there's the item inventory, which the limit of 32 items, period, and they don't stack, is bad in my opinion. And this originally was only going to be one, but a second negative was added because the late game really likes to shotgun loot at you, rapid fire, to the point where it constantly overwhelms you. And then in the spirit of the above, there are a few additions that are wonky to get used to on the timing, and that sucks. Starting with Moonstrike. It's too fast, there are 2 spots the counterattack can throw you off easily, especially with the lack of good SP, as it is always 20. Then there's Cat's Cradle. Oh, good lord. This and the next one I will be bitching about suck. The timing feels off, and don't even get me started on the placement of the counters. I hate myself for doing this because it's one of Maru's, but that's a triple negative. Then there's Hex Hammer. Oh god, Hex Hammer. The counter is always in the same place with this one, but because of the slight pause after the counter and the gotcha nature of counters in general, I kind of hate Hex Hammer. Also, if I may pause for a moment and make a timestamp, because, oh god, Miranda casting Gates of Heaven. This.
God save us! Gates of Heaven!
The bipolar bullshit of that. I have always hated that line read. God save us. This. Remember how I told you to let what Shauna said during Gates of Heaven simmer in the back of your mind? And gods give me power. Gates of Heaven. Right? Well, yeah. Miranda is nothing like that. Yeah. I honestly think the clip that I'm getting Future Alex to show you speaks for itself. The dragon summons cost way too much and offer very little in terms of return on investment, save for the white silver dragon. There's terrain issues aplenty, as movement can be janky on certain terrain. The encounter rate on the moon, the final dungeon, gets to be a bit much in my opinion. I am not a fan of fighting Lloyd during the hero competition. This might seem weird, like a weird thing to get hung up on, but I kind of find this fight I kind of think this fight sucks. It's a forced loss fight where you are completely and utterly helpless, and it makes Lloyd seem more like a Gary Stu, which sucks, because I like his character. I just hate this fight. I ended up giving it 2 negatives. The only thing that keeps it from a triple is honestly the length of it is mercifully short. Like, no, seriously, he literally takes no damage from anything, even if you cheat in Dragoon spirits and shit. Then the stealth section can just eat my entire. Oh no, sorry. Kongol's Dragoon spirit. We talked about this in the story section, but yeah, it's the same. It's the same damn. It's the same problem on the gameplay as it is on the story. You have to wait until the final dungeon if you don't buy it in Lohan. Then there's the Felt Stealth section, which can just eat my entire ass. Fuck, I hate that thing. Then there's the Ghost Knights, which I feel are a bad boss fight, as they constantly regenerate with full HP and are just irritating. You have to literally have them all be down at the same time, which is irritating, especially considering the commander has more health than the knights. Then there's the Scarred Super Virage in the Forbidden Land, which I think is just a terrible gimmick fight with the lives thing. It just makes a boss that would otherwise be a sloggy optional fight into a test of patience and irritation. Double negative. Oh god. Oh god, here we go. Grand fucking Jewel. This is easily my pick for the worst boss fight in the entire game. Bar none. Easily. The level manipulation, which constantly makes you weaker throughout the entire thing. The Dragon Block Staff effect, which means you can never use Dragoon. And then the fact that he recovers 1350 HP once, which, by the way, his max HP at the start is 5600. By the way, at that point, I'm guessing they wrote out the thing and then they realized, oh wait, 6950. We don't want that number, so we put it they put it at 56. Which is funny because nobody's ever going to notice that. But yeah, not a fan of that fight. I absolutely hate that fight. Then there's the Forbidden Land, which I think is the worst dungeon in the game. Its gimmicks are annoying, its bosses suck, and the terrain is at its most likely to get you briefly stuck. Heck. It does have good items, but the other problem is that the random encounters all have status effect fetish, and that just sucks. Triple negative there. Kulon is our fast travel. That comes far too late into the game and is way too limited. It's cool that he's there, but he's so limited that it's like, oof, you know? Kenzaz is the worst optional Dragoon fight, as his speed and dickish AI is either smart, or in double targeting, or dumb enough to not recognize that he should choose a different target. Ugh. Then there's Faust. Okay, the Lore Runner does not usually consider super optionals for a review. I do, because they are a part of the game. If I fight them, I review them, is basically the general gist of how I do my reviews. So, Faust's entire gimmick is that he has magic power that is through the roof, and he can get upwards of 3 fucking turns before you get 1. Yeah, not a fan of that fight. Triple negative. Speaking of triple negatives, crafting laws in Xenobatos. Oh, God. Oof. First problem. Needing to either hunt down the codes for the revisions, or have a guide. Second, dodging those damn jailers before amending the arrest code. Third, waiting in that damn line in the legislation center to get it the production license. And then there's dodging the jailers again to get the law both produced and launched. All of this while the loot is tempting you to risk grabbing it. I don't care if I stand alone on this one. Triple negative. The Mayfield law revisement in particular could go to hell, as at that point it's just fucking padding. Padding in an already boring location. Speaking of irritating padding, the grid maze in Mayfield. The audio spam of the sparks, the fact that it's hard to tell what you're doing, and good luck figuring out the pattern without a guide. Triple negative. Wasn't a fan of Imago. I found it to be an annoying boss. That's that caterpillar that you fight. That goes through all of its stages. Eh. The Death Rose fight. I've already bitched about the Death Rose fight, so I'm just going to say that there's the triple negative, that even in gameplay, it's a triple negative of gameplay story segregation, and move on. And then, and with a general boss negative for being insultingly easy on top of that. So technically I gave that thing 4 negatives on the frickin' gameplay as well. The fight with Claire is not very good, as it seems weird and random at times. For instance, there's no way in hell I did 3,200 damage during that fight. So, And then there's Michael. He is the most boring fight in the entire game. Not the worst fight, but definitely the most boring. As it's a great big wait for the game to say when kind of fight. And yeah, I kind of fucking hate that, because you literally have to wait for the option for Rose to tell Dart about the weak point to show up, and then you can beat him. Ugh. Then there's the constant switching parties members thing after every single test. It's on the moon, which just gets old as fuck. Giving us the best Dragoon spirit right before the final boss is just fucking mean. This is probably one of the only times I'm ever going to do this, but the ultimate weapons are boring. Now in FF7 I actually did individually review the ultimate weapons. But the ultimate weapons in here, they feel half-assed. Literally only 3 of the 7 have effects. And the effects, only one, and of the effects, only one has an interesting one, which is lame. That was Destroyer Mace. Then there's backtracking on the moon, which is just annoying if you're running low on items. And then I ended up giving the outro a double negative, because I kind of hated it. Whew! That was a lot. But yeah, that is my explanation. That is Legend of Dragoon. I have been at this for over an hour and a half. I'm going to chop this off. Legend of Dragoon is an awesome game, but this rating video is a little on the long side, so I apologize for that. Until next time, this is Blue Wolf Alex of the Lorewalkers signing out. Have a good one. It is for sure RE2 next. And let me tell you, that's going to be a slot shorter of a rating video. See you next time. Later.